Live, this is News Channel 8 Today on your side.
Right now, bracing for more potential tropical weather. How you can prepare your home for what's expected to be several more inches of rain. And it's been a little more than a week since Hurricane Helene devastated our coast, and so many neighbors are helping others recover. In just a few moments, we're going to meet with Good Samaritans and show the positive impact that they are making there on Sunset Beach. Plus, we are 1 month from Election Day. We're going to have the impacts that Helene is forcing some changes for voters, the rules the governor is easing to make sure that everyone's voice can be heard. Good Saturday morning. I'm Melissa Marino here with Rebecca Berry. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Hey, Rebecca.
Good morning. I'm in for Amanda. She's having fun this weekend. And I hope you're having fun this weekend as well, because today is the decidedly drier day. We start to see some tropical moisture by tomorrow afternoon. It's not from Hurricane Leslie or Kirk. They're fish storms. And so the next system that'll develop rolling off the coastline of Africa will most likely take a similar path. But all eyes are on the Gulf because of the high potential for development in the southwestern corner of the Gulf. And so it's a low pressure system moving off the coast of Mexico there, but lots of tropical downpours out ahead of it. So we'll get messy, unorganized showers pushing through as soon as tomorrow afternoon while we're watching the system develop well to the west of us. And so we've got the GFS and the Euro here. The Euro's in red, the GFS is in green, and so the Euro is a little stronger upon formation Sunday afternoon. We'll most likely have Tropical Storm Milton by Sunday afternoon. And this system could become a low-end hurricane. The GFS keeps it weaker. You can see how wide the isobars are out there. The Euro's a little tighter, but both of them move it generally towards the Bay Area. The Euro is further south than us, and that would put the storm surge down south of Sarasota and Fort Myers. But the GFS puts it a little bit closer to the Tampa Bay area. If this were to play out, we would see some light surge from that. Nothing like what we saw with Helene, but some surge. And so it moves through Wednesday and it dries us out quickly on Thursday, which is good because we're expecting a lot of rain between now and then. The downpours start tomorrow. They carry through into the week, and we could see 8+ inches of rain from this system in some areas. I'll walk you through how dry today will be and when the rain begins tomorrow, coming up next.
An update from Tampa Mayor Jane Castor on how the city is preparing for more tropical weather. She'll also tour cleanup sites in the wake of Helene and thank crews for their hard work. We're going to hear from the mayor at 8 this morning on West Montgomery Avenue. And to make sure you're ready, the city is opening several sandbag locations. The sites will be open from 8 a.m. at the Himes Avenue complex as well as Al Barnes Park. You must fill your own bags. They are open until 5 this evening. Neighbors across Pinellas County still cleaning out the homes after Hurricane Helene. One of the hardest hit areas was on Sunset Beach and Treasure Island. And today, the group Positive Impact is helping those in need. 8 on your side's Alessandra Young is live now on Sunset Beach this morning with more on how they are helping. Good morning.
Good morning, Melissa. There is so much devastation in this area. I mean, Joe's going to pan for us. Just take a look at all of this. I mean, these are people's lives in their front yards now. So Positive Impact is here trying to help their neighbors. And I'm here with Miss Karen Ray with the organization. And thank you so much, Miss Karen Ray. And also, if you have time this weekend or even next week, Positive Impact needs your help because this is all hands on deck here. I mean, we showed you some of the devastation. So for now, live in Sunset Beach, Alessandra Young, 8 on your side.
Thank you, Alessandra. And another worry on Sunset Beach is the policy that the county is putting into place to deal with the badly damaged homes. Pinellas County officials say homes that suffered greater than 49% damage will have to be rebuilt or raised up. Some homeowners worry those options will be too costly and force a lot of people who have called the community home for years to move. Officials say their goal is to keep people in their homes and say they will work with them as best they can. The coming rain, not welcome news, though, for folks trying to rebuild after Helene. We spoke with several neighbors on Indian Rocks Beach who are working to tear out drywall, remove baseboards, and clear their yards. Some say if another storm is to hit, though, it might as well be now.
We've lost everything. So what are we going to lose? Now we don't have to get the furniture out of the way to get the squeegees to sweep the water out. Everything's destroyed from 4 foot down.
As potential severe weather approaches, local officials say it is important to listen to evacuation orders and always be prepared for the worst. And two local members of Congress reassuring folks that FEMA has enough money to help Helene victims. Republican Congresswoman Laurel Lee and Democrat Kathy Castor both sharing this sentiment. Lee says Congress has allocated the proper funds, while Castor says they also want to make sure there is no fraud.
FEMA does have resources and supplies and personnel that they need to be dealing with the immediate aftermath of the disaster. If there is a need for additional people resources, we'll absolutely be looking at that.
It will take a little while because we want to make sure there's no fraud. FEMA has the funds for individual assistance.
Castor says it could take a week to 10 days for individual assistance. Happening today in Sarasota County, a community cleanup is happening for folks who suffered Helene damage in Osprey and Gulfgate. It runs from 8 this morning until noon. There will be a dumpster set up on Curtis Avenue. Hazardous materials like oil, aerosol cans, and paint will not be accepted. Those materials must be taken to the Citizens Convenience Center in Nokomis. We are just 1 month from the November election, and there are many fears that Helene's impact will create issues for folks looking to vote. To help, Governor DeSantis is allowing voting sites to be relocated and for voters to use alternate addresses. He's also supervisors of elections say they can help anyone who needs it and to visit your county's elections page for assistance. Still ahead, a popular way to cross Tampa Bay back in service. We'll tell you how you can take advantage of the Cross Bay Ferry. Plus, turning on the water back on. We're going to say or explain how Shannon Bankin was able to help a family whose water was cut off over a bill they weren't responsible for. We'll be right back. Happening today, Pinellas County is reopening a few of its parks. Philippe Park in Safety Harbor and Whedon Island Preserve in St. Petersburg will reopen. The Cultural and Natural History Center at Whedon Island will be closed until Thursday. Today in Clearwater, AAA is holding a catalytic converter theft event. You can have a non-removable ID placed on your vehicle's converter so that it can be tracked if stolen. This is free and it runs from 8:30 this morning until 3:30 this afternoon on Gulf to Bay Boulevard. If you are looking to cross the bay, the Cross Bay Ferry service is returning this weekend. The ferry departs from the Port of St. Pete in downtown and then heads to the Tampa Convention Center. You can book tickets and find the ferry schedule on the crossbayferry.com. Still ahead, 8 on Your Side is helping get relief for Seminole Heights. The work that's being put on pause so that they can clean up post-hurricane. Plus, we are going to let you know how you can take advantage of the Insurance Village that's happening in Clearwater, aimed at getting Helene victims the help they need.
And we're keeping an eye on the sunrise. It's a beautiful start to your Saturday. Today's decidedly the better day of the weekend. I'll walk you through when those downpours start on Sunday. Coming up next.
Keeping you safe, the Max Defender 8 weather team on News Channel 8.
We have an update to a story we brought you earlier in the week. TECO says they will pause work on a Seminole Heights road where neighbors are working to clean up from Helene. Neighbors on Hamilton Heath Drive told us TECO was burying electrical cables on the street. TECO officials now tell us they will pause that work for a few weeks to give neighbors time to clean up. And all weekend long in Pinellas County, if you need help filing an insurance claim, an Insurance Village will be open in Clearwater. More than 36 insurance companies, plus representatives from FEMA. They're going to be located at the Long Center on North Belcher Road from 9 to 5, both today and tomorrow. A heads up if you need to get rid of storm debris. If you do not live in Hillsborough County, you can no longer use the county's landfills as well as transfer stations. The Northwest and South County solid waste facilities as well as the Southeast County landfill can only be used by county residents who have a photo ID. The county says this is due to limited capacity. A Largo woman woke up to discover her water was disconnected because the bill had not been paid. The problem is she is a renter and the bill is in the name of the management company. After 5 days with no water and no answers, she called 8 on Your Side consumer investigator Shannon Bankin.
All eyes are on the tropics because we're expecting development in the southwestern Gulf possibly by tomorrow evening. And so it will bring waves of rain well ahead of the actual development moving our way. But there is a high chance, and models generally agree, that this will occur. And so we're expecting tropical downpours to kick off tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll see, this is the European model, and so showing that formation Sunday afternoon, but the tropical downpours already impacting us starting Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. This is how it looks on Tuesday. You can see an area of circulation, possibly a tropical storm, possibly a hurricane. It will take the next name on the list, which is Milton. And so we'll see the main areas of rain moving on over our area Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday at 8 a.m. The Euro's a little bit further south than the GFS, and the further south it goes, the better our forecast would be. If it were to take place like this, we would see an offshore flow out ahead of the storm, which would lower our water levels and eliminate the potential for any surge. The surge in this scenario would be down near Naples. And so it's still a little too soon to tell where it's going to make impact. We'll get a much better idea of that once the system actually forms. One thing to note, this moves out fast, and as it moves out, it drags down cooler, drier air and brings us our first taste of fall over the weekend, next weekend, not this one. We're talking about waking up in the 60s. We are worried about rainfall, though, because both the Euro and the GFS predict hot spots with over 8 inches of rain. Still too soon to tell where those hot spots would be because we don't know that landfalling location yet, but as soon as we get that dialed in, we'll update you. Looking out over our Winters and Yonker camera over beautiful Bayshore Boulevard, we're watching the sunrise this morning. Not too many clouds out there, and today's the decidedly better day of the weekend because we're drier, and so you get all your outside plans done today because by tomorrow afternoon we'll be battling those chances for rain. Kay in Ruskin checking in with our temperature this morning, one of our weather watchers. Good morning, Kay. Thanks for sending in that 77-degree temperature. That won't last. We're going to warm up quickly, and so we're starting in the mid to upper 70s. We only have isolated chances for showers today, a few in Citrus and Hernando County by 1 o'clock, a shower or two in Pasco and Polk County by 4 o'clock. Just not much of a chance for rain today, possibly an evening shower moving towards the coastline. And as we head into Saturday night, things stay pretty quiet for our area, but there is rain around us. This is what we wake up to on Sunday morning, and here come the tropical downpour. Wetter Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, and we're expecting widespread chances for showers to continue Sunday into Monday. We get a little bit of a break on Tuesday because that tropical system's getting closer to us, but Wednesday's the main rain day this week. We have to watch out for the potential for inland flooding, but look what it does to our forecast once that system moves past. We're waking up in the 60s for the first time in months and only topping out in those mid to low 80s with slightly lower humidity. So it's ironic, but our last tropical system bringing us our first taste of fall. We'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Rebecca. Coming up in sports, despite a stellar performance Thursday night, Kenny Morales is sharing why Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield is not happy with how he played and what the team needs to work on moving forward. Time right now, 7:21 on this Saturday morning. Look at this gorgeous shot. The sun is now up. The sky looks a little more like cotton candy over there. Stay with us. Sports is coming up next. Still ahead, FEMA opening more locations in Pinellas County this morning. We'll have more on where you
Live, this is NewsChannel 8 Today on your side.
1 million gallons of wastewater dumped in Pinellas County, with some flowing into people's homes. Why officials say it could have been much worse. And left without answers, why residents of one Pasco County mobile home park say they don't know if they should repair their homes or leave. And one group taking recovery into their own hands. We are hearing from Positive Impact about their efforts to help the community. Thank you so much for waking up with us. I'm Melissa Marino. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, to check on your forecast, here's Rebecca.
Good morning. We're watching the tropics very carefully, not for Leslie or Kirk, they're just fish storms, and the next one rolling off the coastline of Africa with a low chance to develop, it's just a fish storm as well. It's the Gulf that we're watching. There's an 80% chance for a low to develop in the southwestern Gulf, and we're going to start to feel tropical downpours tomorrow afternoon, well ahead of this system. And so I've got the GFS and the Euro dialed up for you here. Those are our two main hurricane forecasting models. The Euro's in red right here, showing a tighter center of circulation by Sunday evening. The GFS just a beat behind it and a little bit. Both of the forecast models agree that this system will develop a bit and generally track towards us. The GFS keeping a more broad rotation and the Euro a little faster and a tighter rotation. This is Wednesday at 1 a.m. and then expecting a landfall during the morning hours on Wednesday. The GFS tracking further north and a more broad system than the Euro, which moves in closer to Fort Myers. And so it will vary, the forecast will vary wildly based on this different scenario. And so we'll have to wait for the forecast to tighten up a little bit to tell you what impacts you may see in your area. The forecast models do a much better job after the center of rotation has formed, but we'll be talking a lot about rainfall totals. This is the Euro showing upwards of 7 inches of rain in some cases, so inland flooding from rainfall may be a big deal with this system. Gusty winds, but not much storm surge, especially if it stays weak. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep you updated. It most likely will take the next name on the list, Milton. We'll take a look at your local forecast because today's the decidedly better day of the weekend. Coming up next.
Thank you, Rebecca. There are 6 FEMA sites opening up today across Pinellas County. You'll be able to get help applying for assistance as well as get information on services you can access now if you are unable to return home. The locations are right here on your screen, and they are open this morning at 9 and will be open until 7 tonight. St. Petersburg city leaders say it was a tough decision to make, but they had to release 1 million gallons of wastewater last Friday. Neighbors in Pinellas County tell us that wastewater started coming in through their bathrooms. Officials say the plant had to be taken offline during the hurricane to protect its equipment from damage, and if they didn't do it, things would have been worse.
So therefore, you can do the math yourself. 3 to 6 weeks of 8 to 10 million gallons a day is a lot of sewage. And so we're not happy that we discharged 1 million gallons, but it could have been a lot worse.
Residents believe the city should have planned ahead better to avoid wastewater adding to the problems they're already facing. Neighbors across Pinellas County still cleaning up their homes after Hurricane Helene, one of the Treasure Island. And today, the group Positive Impact is there helping those in need. 8 on your side's Alessandra Young joining us now live in Sunset Beach with what they are planning on doing. Thank you, Alessandra. Today, neighbors in Newport Richey coming together for a community relief cleanup and barbecue. It's for the residents at Northport Colony Villas. There will be food and drinks for volunteers helping to remove debris from the area. They're also accepting donations for people recovering from Helene. The event runs from 11 this morning until 3 p.m. Today's festival is beginning at Keel Farms. You can go on hay rides, take a walk through the corn maze, and check out the petting zoo. Admission is free, but parking is $10 per car. The event runs every Saturday and Sunday until the end of October from 10 to 3. Recreational marijuana could soon be a reality in Florida. We're hearing from one group trying to debunk rumors around Amendment 3. And heavy rains expected over the next few days. We'll have more on the sandbag sites that are opening today to protect your home.
It's hurricane season once again, and every garage door that Precision installs is a hurricane-rated garage door. So if you have a Precision door and a storm is headed for Tampa Bay, you have one less worry.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Voters in Florida will soon decide whether to legalize recreational marijuana. And a Bay Area lab getting ready for a potential boost in business. Modern Canna tests 3,500 samples of medical marijuana every month for potency and contamination. That testing is required by state law. If approved, Amendment 3 would allow medical marijuana treatment centers and other state entities to also then sell recreational marijuana to people 21 and older. Opponents say that marijuana companies, though, would have a monopoly over the industry.
There isn't one provider, there's 25. And That's more than grocery chains in Florida. And then there's 22 that have been pending since April of 2023.
Modern Canna's CEO says their testing volume would likely triple if recreational marijuana is legalized and the same safety regulations are applied. Hillsborough County opening 3 sandbag sites ahead of heavy rain expected over the next few days. The sandbag operation sites are listed on your screen. They're going to be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. You are able to get 10 sandbags per vehicle. You must fill those yourself. And the city of Bradenton also opening sites today. The Public Works Annex on 9th Street West that allows up to 10 bags per car. That site will be open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. You do need to show proof of residency. Debris pickup starts today in parts of Pinellas County. What officials want you to know to make it easier on cleanup crews. And a mental health facility is accused of holding people against their will. We're hearing from one person who says it was all about profits, not patients. Time right now, 7:41 on this Saturday morning. A gorgeous look over downtown Tampa. Stay with us. More news and your full forecast coming. Happening today, the city of Dunedin will start picking up debris from Helene. They say the process could take weeks, but they are starting with neighborhoods most impacted by the storm. Officials, they are asking neighbors to keep the streets clear so that trucks can get through. They say right now the focus is on clearing household debris. Branches and leaves will be picked up later. Former patients and employees of Acadia mental health facilities tell 8 on Your Side that people were held against their will, including one in Pasco County. Now, they claim the motive wasn't patient care. Instead, it was profits. Investigator Brittany Muller has the story. This morning, the Saturday morning market is returning to Al Lang Stadium in St. Pete. You can check out over 100 vendors selling fresh produce, meats, bread, and art. The market runs from 9 this morning until 2 this afternoon. And check out this video from NASA. It shows the most powerful solar flare since 2017. NASA says this happened Thursday evening, and the flare is strong enough to disrupt communications devices across the planet. Rebecca Berry joining us now with more on this. I just think they are so cool to look at.
So beautiful, but the after effect might even be more beautiful, because when we see a solar flare like this, we're seeing the sun basically an ejection of plasma. And so that plasma starts to interact with our magnetic fields that are around the Earth. Now, our magnetic fields are weakest at the poles. And so all of that energy that the sun from the solar flare shoots out, it enters our atmosphere closer to the poles because that's where the magnetic fields are the weakest. And so because of that, when it starts to move into our atmosphere, it creates the northern lights. And we get northern lights of different colors based on whether it's oxygen or nitrogen. Generally, you see the green, and that's oxygen, but we can get purple and blue, which is nitrogen. So hopefully we'll be getting some more beautiful images of northern lights as a result of that solar flare. On to less fun stuff to talk about, the tropics. We've got 2 fish storms out there, Hurricane Kirk and Hurricane Leslie. We're also monitoring an area moving off the coastline of Africa with about a 30% chance to develop, but all eyes are on the Gulf because there's an 80% chance for us to see development in the southwestern corner. We've been talking about potential development in the Gulf for about a week now, and now it's becoming a little bit more clear as to what we can expect. You see, the moisture extends all. And so even though the development will be back in the southwestern corner, we'll start to see tropical downpours pushing over the state as early as tomorrow afternoon. And so we expect this system to start to develop on Sunday afternoon. We may get a named system. If it gets named, the next name on the list is Milton. And so a tropical storm approaching the state, possibly becoming a hurricane. And this is the European forecast showing it making its way onshore near Fort Myers. That would put us on the offshore side of things if that were to occur. The surge would be south of Fort Myers all the way down to Naples, but not nearly the surge that we saw with Helene. And so we're just not expecting to be that strong of a storm based on what we're seeing on the forecast models right now, but that we do have a lot of warm sea surface temperatures in the Gulf. And so it's kind of a wait and see game as far as that goes. But this moves through Wednesday morning through the afternoon hours, but it moves out fast. And as it moves out, it drags down some cooler, drier air, and that's going to bring our first taste of fall just in time for next weekend. Watching the beautiful sunrise on the micro-lumen camera, we're in the mid-70s, and today's the decidedly better day of the weekend because we're drier. Only isolated chances for showers, mainly in Citrus and Hernando County to start off with during the afternoon hours, maybe down into Pasco and Polk, but just an isolated shower here and there today. It's not the case tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you want to do something something outside, start early because the morning will be okay. But by your noon hour, we're seeing a few showers. And then by 3 o'clock, here comes the first wave of rain pushing up the state. Will be pretty rainy Sunday evening as well. And that's just the beginning of the rainier weather. And so the rainier weather does hold our temperatures down. Look what it does to our forecast for next weekend. We're waking up in the 60s for the first time in months, feeling a little bit more like fall with crisp feeling in the air as well. And so we'll keep you updated on what's going on in the tropics and update this forecast accordingly.
Thank you, Rebecca. A group of volunteers coming together in Hillsborough County to help people recovering from Helene. After the break, we're hearing from the Hurricane Helene warriors about why they're stepping up to help. Volunteers brought together by social media are helping seniors clean up after Hurricane Helene. News Channel 8's Brianna Villegas shows us how they're making an impact.
We're joining you from the Bay Pines neighborhood here near Town and Country. You can see these guys bringing out damaged debris, damaged furniture from homes just like this one.
Love to see people coming out and help. Okay, a quick final look at the forecast.
Absolutely. Today's the decidedly better day of the weekend because it is drier. Sunday's not a washout to start off with, but we see those tropical downpours beginning, especially by the afternoon hours. And then Monday we'll have more waves of rain pushing across our area. Tuesday maybe a little drier, but then by Wednesday we're probably dealing with the tropicals.
Yeah, not the best news, but certainly good to have a heads up. Thank you, Rebecca. And thank you so much for joining us. Our next newscast is this evening. Have a great one.
Closed captioning sponsored by Famous Tate.